So if you remember, when you're setting this up, you go to customize your pipeline settings, and then you can add a number of different statuses. So you've got your active status. This is just a screenshot from within Less Annoying CRM. On the left, you've got your active statuses, and on the right, you've got your closed statuses. The active ones are actually far more important and relevant. So I'm just actually going to, for now, start at the second one down on the active statuses, so interested but not yet. So this could be someone that you meet that has some funds, and I'm really interested in what you do, but at the moment I've got money tied up in other investments, or just now's not a good time for me. They still get marked in your pipeline, but just mark them as a different status. Interested but not yet. And then you can put notes within that contact in the system with a reminder for, say I've got another investment going on for the best part of the next year. You can put in a reminder for, say, 11 months' time to follow up with John Smith or whoever it is. The next one down is your prospect interested. So this is someone who, as I've described, has said something like, I'm interested to know more. How would that work? They would be marked as prospect interested. Once that happens, what happens next? That's right, we're booking in the investment strategy consultation. So ISC booked. Now the reason that's a different status to the interested one is because the process from someone being interested to being booked in for a consultation doesn't have to be managed by you. So that's something that you can pass on. So in our case, we get that gets passed on to another member of the team who manages the diary to make that happen. And when they've found a date, then that contact, that person would be moved into the next status, which is ISC booked. After you've had the investment strategy consultation, just your meeting, your next point is to send your follow-up email. Don't worry, we're going to go into details about what all this means in a moment, but then you'd mark them as that follow-up sent, so that they're through. You've got through the meeting, it's happened, you've sent the follow-up, they're into that next part of the process. After that, your next stage, you've got HOT agreed, heads of terms agreed. So that's for us, the real next big section is, that's the clear marker that someone's going on to the next stage, is that you've got those terms broadly agreed. Once someone's got those terms agreed, then you can be actively looking for a project for them. That's exactly how we run it. Then you can propose this potential project to them when you find the right one from your deal pipeline, and you bring them together, and that's when you'd move them into deal agreed. And the one after that we have as current investor, which is where someone has, they're actively investing in a project. And you just keep them there because quite often your current investors will become your next investors for the next project, so you still don't want to forget who you've got currently with you in projects, so that you can then recycle them back around to deal agreed again on the next one. So that's your active statuses. Then on the other side, you've got your closed statuses. So this is when, for whatever reason, the relationship has closed down for now. So it could be, we've got here previous investor. So this would mean that an investor's kind of gone through this process, and for whatever reason, after the project's ended, they've taken their money back and they are not a current investor anymore. But good to remember, because there may be a reason that they've had to step back for a while. Still want to keep them marked, not marked sounds bad, but remember them for future. Next one down is investor not suitable on values. I've got a whole section of values in the team module, but this is essentially saying that you've decided that this person is not right for you to work with, because there's a mismatch there that's not quite right. So they have been closed. And the last one is gone quiet. So it could be that you have they say they're interested and then they never get back to an email about booking in. And after you can decide how long this period of time is. If they've had a couple of prompts and they haven't, responded, then I'd move them into gone quiet. Same thing as you may have had a meeting with them, sent a follow-up email, haven't got a response, maybe sent another one a few weeks later, maybe one more after that. If you haven't heard still then I pop them into gone quiet. And there may be a reason for that. They may come back in future, so good not to forget about them, but just take them out of the active pipeline. So this is how the whole process interplays with the system. Because this really is the system, and how we then work with that is the process that sits around it. And what happens within each of these stages for someone to be able to progress to the next one. So if you haven't got anything like this set up yet, I recommend just leverage these statuses that we've come up with, get them set up in your own pipeline in Lesson Knowing CRM, and anyone that you've kind of got either investing with you at the moment, get them in there, get them marked as current investor. If you've got some people who have said that they're interested, go and mark them as interested. Just basically populate it with who you have around you at the moment, and so that you can get into the habit of using this moving forwards. Right, so what information to store and where? So you've got your CRM system on the one hand, and you've got your file storage system on the other hand. They're both still needed for this. So the way that we split it is, in the CRM system, that's where you can save any sort of more general meeting notes. If you have a call, you can pop some notes very easily and quite informally in there. And any FCA forms that they have filled out, they can be attached to that contact in there too. And then within the OneDrive, that's where we have a specific folder to store contracts and deal packs, more on that later, and also deal analyzers. So that's once we get into the real nitty-gritty of doing a deal, all that information is being stored on the online file storage system, because within our team, and ultimately either you'll have this now or you will want it in the future, you'll want to have multiple people being able to be involved from afar. So that's how we split between the two systems.